So I am here. So like I said, I'm Matt Cola. I am the Tech Prep Coordinator, and my co-presenter today is Kara Parker, who is the Academic Program Officer with Kent State's CCP. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Thanks, Matt. Again, I'm Kara Parker. I'm the program officer for our office on campus. It's pre-college programs office, where we host the College Credit Plus program. So aside from myself, who works specifically with CCP, is our associate director, Kristen Bechter, and then our executive director, Donica Dreyer. She is over both CCP and Tech Prep.
We also have one of our brand new specific CCP advisors on the call with us. So,
Oh,
Allie, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Allie Andriani Edwards. I am one of the new advisors, and I am excited to be here tonight learning more about Tech Prep.
Cool. Thank you.
yes.
All right. So there is one other advisor who has class tonight, so she will not be able to join us, and her name is Sierra Shank. But in the pre-college programs office, we're super excited to have dedicated advisors for our CCP students who have also said that they are willing to help our tech prep students if they need it as well, which I think is a super unique opportunity here at Kent State. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Tonight's presentation is about the different types of credits that high school students might be able to earn when they're in high school. So to overview, those three types of credit fall into three broad categories. Awarded credit, transcripted credit, which is what we issue through CCP, and articulated credit, which is issued through Tech Prep in two different ways. And so hopefully by the end of this presentation, we'll be able to help you understand a little bit more about how your students can get any combination of all of those credits. And I am going to kind of go quickly through the awarded credit section. That's credit that can be earned through advanced placement courses, CLEP exams, IB exams, military service, things like that. Our office is not involved in issuing those credits, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that those were an opportunity for your students. First and foremost, I think the most common type of awarded credit we see is advanced placement or AP credit. In order to get this credit on the college level, students have to pass the end of the course exam with 3 or more. That credit gets posted to your student's college transcript, and that has no impact on their college GPA. One thing that I think a lot of people don't know is that your students aren't required to take the AP class if they want to take an AP exam. It's recommended that they take the class, don't get me wrong. But if for some reason your student or your school doesn't offer a certain course that a student might want credit in, they are welcome to attempt to take the exam. So for more information, you can send them to the AP website. Other types of awarded credit include CLEP, which is the college level examination program, which allows students to essentially test out of college level courses to prove proficiency by taking an exam. And International Baccalaureate, which you can find more information about that website or about that on their website. For any other questions about all types of awarded credit and really anything we talk about today, feel free to visit our credit transfer office website at Kent State. They're just a wealth of knowledge and they're super helpful. So next, I'm going to hand it over to Kara, who will talk about transcripted credit and CCP Plus. College Credit Plus.
Thanks, Matt. So all of you may or may not be aware of the College Credit Plus program here in the state of Ohio. So overall, it is a state mandated program. All colleges and universities must participate. Other states have similar programs. It's just called something different, concurrent enrollment, dual enrollment. But here in Ohio, it's called College Credit Plus, or CCP is a common term for that. So with College Credit Plus, 7th grade through 12th grade students are able to apply. And again, we have students who apply from all over and to multiple colleges and universities. one benefit that some students or families may not know of is that a student can participate in CCP at multiple universities or multiple colleges within the same semester or within the same year. So we have a couple of high schools where we offer certain college courses, and we have other colleges who offer the similar classes or different classes at that high school as well. And so students are getting credit from all the universities and colleges at the same time, which is a huge benefit. So the program, one of the benefits is that it's free to the public school students. So that's free tuition and free textbook costs to them. The school districts pay for both. Now, private school and homeschool students are able to still apply to CCP. However, there's an additional step that they're able to take. It's a state funding application. You can find that on the Ohio Department of Higher Education website, the steps they have to take to submit their funding application. And then the state in return sends students funding award letters that will let the student know how many credits they can have covered or how much tuition they can have covered by the state. If a private or homeschool student, if they do not submit a funding application or if they are not approved for credit hours, which most of them, I don't think I've experienced any student who submitted a funding app and didn't get approval for any credit hours. So really for students who don't submit that funding application, or maybe they run out of credit hours at some time within a semester or a year, then they're considered self-pay students. They have to pay for any credit hours that's not covered by the state. So that's one benefit of the program, is that it's basically free for students. And when students are admitted and they are enrolled in a course at their college or university, they are considered an official college student. So they are enrolled in an actual college course with other students, whether or not they're older than them or younger, and they are receiving college credits, almost like starting their new freshman year. The only difference is they're still in high school or middle school. And then in the system, they're looked at as non-degree seeking, but they still have almost all the benefits that any other college student has. They have all the resources available to them, tutoring services. They can check in with our career advising center. They can actually get a job on campus as a high school student. They can connect with our student accessibility services if they need any accommodations with their classes. So any resources that's available to any other college student, they have those same resources available to them. And they can also join different activities or join organizations as well. So I always get the question of the difference between the college course and College Credit Plus versus AP. And the way I sum that up is when you're in CCP, you're actually in the class semester by semester. And so, for example, one of our common courses is College Writing 1. So a student will take that, let's say, fall semester, and then move on to College Writing 2 in the spring. So they're getting credit for both classes versus AP, where if you are taking the class at your high school, you're learning the content of the course. And then at the end of the year, you take an exam to see if you'll earn college credit based on the score that you earn. Another main benefit of the program is that students will take college courses to count for high school credit. So again, using that example of our English College Writing 1 class, the rule is as long as the course is worth 3 college credits or more, and as long as it's within the subject area in which the student needs for high school graduation requirements, the high school must accept it as 1 full year of that subject. So with our College Writing 1 course, that's an English class. It's worth 3 credit hours or more. Most of our courses are 3 credit hours or more. So the high school must consider that as 1 full year of English. And like I said, a lot of students will take College Writing 1 in the fall, then College Writing 2 in the spring. So that's 2 full years of English at the high school level. So the students will start their college transcript. So all the grades, all the courses they complete affects their college GPA. And since they also count as high school credit, that does then get added onto a student's high school transcript. So I always tell students, if you're not doing so well in your courses, let us know, because it will highly impact both your college GPA and your high school GPA. So students, school counselors, and academic advisors will work with them on what courses suit them best based on how many courses they may need to complete for high school graduation requirements. In addition to, they'll usually ask the student, what's your interest area, what you may want to major in after high school graduation, and they'll look at those courses as well to see if they're eligible to take them now as a CCP student. So students are taking courses on their college transcript, it counts to their high school transcript, and then they're knocking off those courses quicker than students who may not participate in CCP, knocking down all those classes that are part of their future major. So just briefly talking about Kent State, for those of you who may have students interested in applying to CCP here, our summer, fall, and next spring application is now available. So our summer deadline is April 15th, fall deadline is June 1st, spring deadline is October 15th. It is an online application found at www.kent.edu/CCP, and there's an apply now button towards the middle of the screen. So you'll submit that online application, and then there's what's called a CCP permission form. Students need to sign and submit. A parent or guardian needs to sign that form as well, and that can be sent to, it can be uploaded into a student's application portal, and it can also be scanned via email as an email attachment to our ccp@kent.edu email address. And then lastly, we'll need a copy of a current school transcript, but that can only be sent from a school counselor or another school administrator. And that can also be sent to our ccp@kent.edu email address. So that completes the application. So the online piece, CCP permission form, school transcript. Once we receive that, that's when we'll determine if a student needs to test. So overall, the rule is if a student has at least a 3.0 or higher unweighted high school GPA, then they are deemed eligible for the program. Anything under a 3.0, or if it's a middle school student, then we'll look into their academic record to see if they have to complete an ACT, SAT, or another admissions exam called AccuPlacer. So I always tell students, if you're on the fence, you're not really sure if you need to test, just submit your application in full, we'll review it, and then we'll contact you via email letting you know if we are in need of any additional information like a testing assessment. So when it comes to the end of your CCP participation, if you completed CCP classes at Kent State and you plan to come to Kent State, or students plan to come to Kent State, they don't have to do anything with their CCP record. It's all in the same Kent State system, even if you completed them at a regional campus. If you completed courses at Kent State, but you plan to go to another college or university, that's when you have to request your Kent State transcript to be sent to that other college. And then it's up to that other college to determine how your Kent State courses will transfer there. So I always tell students, check in with an advisor at your other college ahead of time so you kind of know ahead of how your courses will transfer, if any will transfer. We've had success with transferability when it goes from a public school to another public college or university. I've had issues with students who want to transfer to a private college or to a out-of-state college. So just know, students, they will do an evaluation of those courses that you complete. And then vice versa. If you did CCP at a different college or university, but you plan to come to Kent, you again will have to request your transcript from that other school to be sent to Kent. And we have a credit transfer office to do an evaluation on how your courses will transfer here. So that's pretty much it. Kind of summarizes CCP. CCP is a lot of information, but that's sort of a little summary for you. But you can always go to our website, again, www.kent.edu/CCP, or shoot us an email at ccp@kent.edu.
Great. Thank you, Kara.
Welcome.
All right. Next, I am going to go into talking about the third type of credit, which is articulated credit. That's the type of credit that we grant through the Tech Prep program. This entire webinar series was born from the questions that I kept receiving about articulated credit and the difference between CTAG credit and bilateral credit. So CTAG credit is the Career Technical Assurance Guides, and these are courses that are guaranteed to transfer to any of Ohio's public colleges or universities as long as they have an approved equivalent course. And more on that in just a moment. And students get these credits by earning a passing score on an end of course exam, often called a web exam, in their career technical course. Passing scores vary from program to program, but all can be found at the CTAG guidance document, which was put out by the Ohio Department of Education and Ohio Department of Higher Education. The big thing about CTAG credit is that students have to indicate that they give permission to the exam to apply the credits onto the colleges. The ODE and ODHE made this process a little bit easier last year, but it is still in transition. The very last question of their web exam, end of year course, is going to ask, do you give us permission to post these grades? Your students have to select yes. If they select no, we can correct it, but it becomes a very difficult process. Or if students select yes, but don't come to their college or university the next semester, that's fine. Because students can apply for this credit for up to 3 years post-graduation. But again, the process is more complicated after high school if they either select no or wait. We can make it happen. We keep talking about the credit transfer office. They are miracle workers. So we will, if your student comes to us and says, I have this credit, we'll track it down. However, in order to get CTAG credit, a college or university has to have an aligned equivalent. That means that if your student is in a tech prep course that is teaching CTAGs, then and they pass the exam and they decide to come to a college or university, let's use Kent State as an example, Kent would have to have a course that that faculty across the state has identified as equivalent to what was taught in your class. And that is created by a panel of higher education faculty across the state. They determine what equivalencies are. And all equivalencies can be tracked through the CTAG course reporting system. And then I also put a link to Kent's specific CTAG equivalencies in here for your convenience as well. That's just a real quick definition of what CTAGs are, and I know it's a little confusing. The thing you need to most know is check the CTAG guide and course reporting system. That'll tell you what courses that you in your program are equivalent to what public Ohio colleges or universities. And for more information on CTAGs, go and visit the Ohio Department of Higher Education CTAGs page. The next type of credit that Tech Prep issues is bilateral credit or Tech Prep credit, or sometimes it's just called articulated credit. This is credit that is awarded on top of any additional possible CTAGs that a student can get through their career technical education program or their Tech Prep program. That every college or university can enter into contracts, which are called articulation agreements or bilateral agreements, with specific CTE programs at specific schools. And those programs can get different credits related to the content that they're learning in their course that then apply to their college major. The big thing to note is that these credits can vary from college to college, and they might not always transfer from college to college if you decide to attend another institution. That's because these agreements, faculty review the content in the courses, and then they identify equivalencies at the higher education level. So it's essentially a similar process to the CTAG process, but it's handled at each college or university individually. In order for students to get this credit, they have to apply to my office upon graduation. Every college or university has a different application process, and I know not everyone is thinking about Kent State, and that's totally okay. So Tech Prep is an office that works in a consortium model. So for a list of other colleges that definitely have Tech Prep, visit our Northeast Ohio Tech Prep website. The link that is on this slide will specifically take you to the contact page, and that lists the Tech Prep points of contact at Stark State, Tri-C, Lakeland Community College, Lorain Community College, the University of Akron, and Youngstown State, in addition to Kent State. So if you are thinking about attending any of those schools' internet tech prep program, my colleagues are all wonderful people, and they would all be happy to help you and talk you through their individual tech prep processes. At Kent State, students are able to apply for tech prep credits once they are admitted and have submitted their final transcript. In order to qualify for tech prep credit, your students have to have completed all tech prep courses that they've taken with a B or better. They have to apply within 3 years of graduation, and then they have to send the appropriate student credit application form, the link to that page on our website, to their high school faculty, who signs off to verify that the students have attained appropriate knowledge in their courses. From there, the high school faculty or staff member has to email it back to me. If I get applications from students, I cannot take them. Now the other thing is not all tech prep programs currently have an agreement with Kent State, and that's totally okay. However, the process to get them is pretty easy sometimes. If your program doesn't have an agreement with Kent State, reach out to techprepemail@kent.edu, and from there we look to make sure that that we don't have a similar agreement, or we look to see if we have a similar agreement with another school. And if that is the case, we will verify that the content seems similar and can issue you an agreement. If we don't have any an agreement that looks similar to what your content is teaching already, then we have our faculty review your program and determine what credits we can issue you at Kent State. Like I said, that was all really complicated. At the end of the day, in order for students to get tech prep credit at Kent, they have to fill out the credit application form, submit it to their teachers, who then submit it to me. And from there, as long as they meet all the requirements on their credit application form, they get their credit. But if you have any further questions about tech prep at Kent State, visit our tech prep website or email us at techprepemail@kent.edu. This last slide, I promised you a pretty comprehensive resource slide. This slide lists all of the links in this presentation, along with a really great, really short article that summarizes everything we talked about today from a more general perspective. So thank you to Jessica Pointer from the Thomas Fordham Institute for writing the Ohio's Dual Credit Landscape, a primer article. Here's our contact information, but does anyone have any questions? All right, well, seeing none, I do appreciate your time today, and would love to see you all at our next session. It is going to be a session on financial wellness and financial literacy regarding college credits in high school. You can sign up for that session at the same link that you signed up for this session on. And we will also send this presentation out to everyone who signed up and remind them to sign up for future sessions if they haven't already. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Right.